All right, what's good, everybody? It's your man James Johnson, aka at J1010XL, as you all know me on Twitter, and of Inside Edge Sports, coming to you all with yet another breakdown video. We're gonna switch it up this week, as opposed to doing the draft pick breakdown videos, which we're gonna continue with next week. But we're gonna take a little detour and do it a little differently. Got a couple requests on Facebook to do a breakdown video of Gus Bradley's defense to explain what's going on in this defense and the basics of it. Now, as I've said, I'm no Todd McShay, no Mike Mayock or Mel Kiper, but and it's even some things about this defense that I don't understand yet, and I got to see on film. But I do understand the basics, and I want to help you all to grasp the basics of it as well. So what I have here is a couple of slides. We won't do a lot. It's not going to be any video cuts here or any video footage. We'll do that in the next part of this video, part two. But for now, I got a couple slides to help you all understand the basics. So without further ado, here we go. All right, so what you have here is a slide from ProFootballFocus.com. I want to give them their credit for this. And basically what it is a slide of your offensive line positions and your defensive line alignments. Now, if you look below each of the offensive line positions here, you'll notice a set of numbers ranging from 0 to 9. Each of those represents a defensive alignment, basically, in any defensive scheme for that matter. In Gus Bradley's defense, the defensive alignments that will be used is the 0 technique, as you all can see lined up directly in front of the center. The 1 technique, as you all can see lined up on the inside shoulders of the guards and the outside shoulders of the center. The 3 technique, which you can see is lined up on the outside shoulders of the guards and the inside shoulders of the tackles. The 5 technique, as you all can see, lines head up on the tackles. And lastly, for those of you who are familiar with the Leo position, that would be represented by the numbers 7 and 9, the 7 and 9 technique. And those are basically your primary pass rusher for this defense and your outermost lineman. All right, so you have the 0, the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7, and 9. Those are all the defensive alignments that you're going to see used in Gus Bradley's defense. Now, if you notice, that's pretty much all the odd numbers. The even numbers you can pretty much ignore in this defense. Don't even worry about those. So the 0 technique, his job is to occupy double blocks, double teams from the center and the guard, and that would basically free up the rest of the linemen for one-on-one matchups around him. You know, that would put the other defensive tackle in a one-on-one matchup with the guards, the defensive end in one-on-one matchups with the tackles. His job is to also kind of, bull rush the center into the backfield, stuff the run as well. But like I say, generally what you want him to do is occupy 2 blocks and to basically free up the rest of the defense around him. And he's basically the anchor of this defense, so to speak. He's basically the same role that Haloti Ngata serves for the Ravens and Vince Wilfork for the Patriots. The 1 technique is pretty much the same thing. He just lines up on the outside shoulder of the center and the inside shoulder of the guard. Same body size, same role pretty much. The 3 technique is basically you want a defensive tackle that can pass rush, somebody with good size but swift as well, that can get in the lane between the guard and the tackle, and cause havoc and rush the passer. The 5 technique is somebody you want with good size, upwards of 300 pounds or somewhere close to that, maybe a little less, but somebody who is good against the run. Not necessarily a good pass rusher, but somebody with nice size that can stop the run. Lastly, you have the Leo role, which is the 7 and the 9, as I've already said. And, that's your primary pass rusher in this defense. That's where all the sacks are going to come from. All right, so what we have here is a picture from fieldgoals.com. I want to give them their credit for this. And they have great insight on this defense, by the way. If you all want to check it out, I'm going to leave their URL in the description. And as I say, they got great insight on this defense for those of you who want to continue reading about it and try to grasp what's going on here. But you have a picture of a 4-3 underset. For those of you who play Madden, you're probably familiar with the 4-3 underset. And as you'll see here, lined up in the one technique is Brandon Mebane. And what he's likely going to try to do is to get this guard and the center to double team him, which is the guard, that's his job as a nose tackle as a one technique. Now, someone that they feel that can do this here in Jacksonville on our roster is Roy Miller, who they signed off free agency, and also Kyle Love, who he filled this role in New England, and they feel like that he can play that role here as well. Here is your three technique. That's Allen Branch right there. Someone they're gonna likely line up here is Derek Marks, who's looked good so far. We'll have to see what happens when the pads go on. And Dederick, who they recently signed off of waivers from the Patriots as well. That's a role that they feel that he can probably fill, and that's where they might put him in this defense. Here is your five technique. That's where they feel like Tyson Alualu is a good fit for. They feel like it'll be a better fit for him than he's been used in the past, and he might can even resurrect his career here. It'll be better on his knees, and it'll give him a better matchup. He'll be, as you can see, he'll likely be going one-on-one with tackles at times, and even at times he'll go one-on-one with guards and what have you. And that's where they'll put him. Lastly, you have your Leo role. That's where Andre Branch and Jason Babin would fit at right there at the wide 9 or the 7 technique, as they call it. And as you all know, like I said, that's your primary pass rusher, and that's where all your sacks is going to come from. All right, so lastly, I want to kind of answer a question I've gotten quite often. I've had people ask me, James, is this a 3-4 defense or is it a 4-3 defense? Or I've even had people ask me, what does Gus Bradley mean? This is a 4-3 defense with 3-4 principles. Okay, now what he means by that is he's basically using 3-4 body types in a 4-3 defense. Okay, if you look at these three linemen that I have circled here, those are generally three linemen that you would use in a 3-4 defense, but they're being used in a 4-3 defense. Okay, now also what he means by he'll use 3-4 principles is at times the Leo here will stand up, making this a 3-4 defense. So to sum it up, that's pretty much what he means. He'll be using 3-4 bodies in a 4-3 defense, and when the Leo stands up, that will make it a 3-4 defense. All right, so there you have it. Our Inside Edge Sports breakdown of Gus Bradley's defense, of the Jaguars defense, at least part one for that matter. We'll continue with part two next week, where we'll actually have video footage to show you all as opposed to the slides. But I just wanted to help you all with the basics for now, and we'll continue with actual footage next week. We'll also continue with the draft prospect videos with Dwayne Gratz, the cornerback that the Jags picked up in the third round, and we'll break his game down next week. Once again, thanks for the feedback. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for going to the site. And we would like to ask that you all subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and continue to support us. And that's pretty much it. So until next week.